Hey guys, welcome back to the channel McNallie Money, your home of all things stock, investment, and personal finance related. In today's video, a very interesting clinical stage biopharmaceutical company by the name of Alzamend Neuro. We're going to be talking about this in detail during today's podcast. Before we do, take a second, hit the like button, you guys. Feel free to subscribe to the channel and let me know in the comment section below if you've heard of Alzamend before and if you're currently holding shares. Now with that being said, let's get into today's video. Okay guys, so that's right. Today's video, we're going to be profiling Alzamend Neuro Incorporated, trades on the NASDAQ under the ticker symbol ALZN. This is as of close on Monday, May 12th. You can see giving up about 14% on the day, 83 cents to close out at $5.15. So a lot of price action here. We're going to be talking about that in today's presentation, along with exactly what it is Alzamend Neuro does. Now, if we jump over to the corporate website, alzamend.com, you can see the ticker in the top left, ALZN, committed to treatment and cures of post-traumatic stress disorder, Alzheimer's, bipolar disorder, and major depressive disorder. Now you can see some news scrolling across the bottom there. We'll touch on that in a second. But before we do, I wanted to give a quick company overview in terms of what Alzamend Neuro is all about. So this is a Delaware corporation headquartered in Atlanta, Georgia. It's a clinical stage biopharma or biopharmaceutical company committed to making Alzheimer's just a memory. Now they're also working on developing effective treatments for psychiatric disorders, which affect over 600 million people globally. We've talked about this previously on the channel, with a mission to rapidly develop and market safe and effective treatments. We're driven by the belief that strong support of research is the foundation for true innovation, and that uniquely positions us to understand and effectively address the unmet needs of the patients we serve. Now, their current pipeline consists of 2 novel therapeutic drug candidates. The first, AL001. This is a patented ionic co-crystal technology delivering lithium via a therapeutic combination of lithium, proline, and salicylate. There's also ALZN002, which is a patented method using a mutant-peptide sensitized cell and a cell-based therapeutic vaccine that seeks to restore the ability of a patient's immunological system to combat Alzheimer's. Now, both of these product candidates are licensed from the University of South Florida Research Foundation, pursuant to the royalty-bearing exclusive worldwide licenses. Now, their lead product candidate, AL001, is currently in the midst of clinical development for the treatment of Alzheimer's, bipolar, major depressive disorder known as MDD, which we saw in the intro, and post-traumatic stress disorder, also known as PTSD. Now, the preclinical data for AL001 treatment showed prevention of cognitive deficits, depression, and irritability, and we'll be following up on that later in the presentation. And here you can see on their product pipeline page, again, they make reference to the transition of these 2 therapies targeting Alzheimer's disease, and note that Alzamend intends to undertake pioneering phase 2 clinical trials beginning in this quarter of 2025. And again, we'll touch on that in a second. Now, if we jump into the updated investor deck, you can see, again, they make reference to this lead drug candidate, ionic co-crystal of lithium, also known as the AL001. Multiple indications, so we already talked about the fact that this can be used for AD, BD, MDD, and PTSD. They've completed their phase 1 relative bioavailability study back in March of 2022. Received their study may proceed notifications in the second half of 2023, and again anticipate initiating phase 2 clinical studies in 2025. Now, back in March, they did give an update on the roadmap here. The article is entitled Alzamend Neuro announces initiation date of phase 2 clinical trial of AL001, again, for the treatment of bipolar disorder to take place at Massachusetts General Hospital. And if we scroll down through the press release, you can see they're now targeting the 3rd quarter of this year for the study. Now, in terms of the market opportunity, you can see 43.5 million US patients and a global patient count in the neighborhood of about 664 million, so a massive total addressable market, or TAM. Now, you can see on May 7th, they did give an update as to the study or phase 2 clinical trial of AL001, stating Alzamend Neuro partners with Qmenta to advance AI-powered imaging for its phase 2 clinical trial of AL001, study to take place at Massachusetts General Hospital. So this is really a big partnership or step in the right direction, as Qmenta's cloud-based platform will manage and analyze medical imaging data throughout the trials, ensuring regulatory compliance, enhancing operational efficiency, and supporting data management, with Alzamend aiming to explore the unique properties of AL001 and its potential to deliver lithium more effectively to the brain compared to marketed lithium salts. And here's a great look at the product pipeline or product candidate pipeline itself with AL001, the multiple indications, the various different phases, including preclinical, phase 1, phase 2, which we're now entering, followed by phase 3 and FDA approval. And then, of course, ALZN 002, or the second product candidate that we talked about in the intro. Now, for those of you who are unfamiliar, Alzheimer's disease is an irreversible, progressive brain disorder that slowly destroys memory and cognitive skills and eventually the ability to carry out the simplest task. We've probably all met someone who's been impacted by this disease and is many times referred to as the most feared disease, with Alzheimer's related deaths increasing 145% between 2000 and 2019. There's no current cure and there's very few treatments for symptoms that are available today, and that's exactly why Alzamend Neuro is so excited and passionate about this project. And they also give some interesting statistics on the right, including the fact that in 2023, Alzheimer's and other dementias cost the United States nearly $345 billion. Now, lithium specifically has been reported to show reduction of biomarkers, irritability, and cognitive decline in patients with Alzheimer's. And in the case of ALZN 002, compared to passive immunization treatment approaches that use foreign blood products, active immunizations with ALZN 002 is anticipated to offer a more robust and long-lasting effect on the clearance of amyloid. So a tremendous improvement in the status quo if Alzamend is eventually able to bring these products to market. Now, they then go on to give a similar breakdown of bipolar disorder, major depressive disorder, and PTSD or post-traumatic stress disorder, all of which impact millions of Americans, cost tens of millions of dollars each year to treat, and in the case of PTSD, have a large representation in the veterans category, specifically those who are deployed to a war zone, which leads to symptoms including disturbing thoughts, feelings, dreams related to the event, and mental or physical distress. So this is where it gets really interesting. You can see in the deck, they go through each of the trial phases up until now, including phase 1, their phase 2A trial, which I would encourage you guys to go in and take a closer look at, and a similar breakdown for ALZN 002, including their phase 1 and 2A trials. Now, in addition to the huge total addressable market and the proprietary technology or platforms that Alzamend Neuro is creating, they've also assembled an impressive leadership team headed by Stephen Jackman, who's the Chief Executive Officer and Director. He's got over 20 years experience in multiple different industries, including biotech and pharmaceutical, and has really surrounded himself by a team of individuals with long-running connections and understanding in their respective fields. Now, I mentioned in the intro we would talk about the recent share price action. You can see on May 8th, Alzamend Neuro announced a reverse stock split, and this is really part of the company's plan to maintain that minimum bid price requirement of the NASDAQ of $1 and represented a 1-for-9 reverse stock split in common shares of Alzamend Neuro. So obviously the market is digesting this news. Biopharmaceutical companies, specifically clinical stage, are known for volatility, so I definitely encourage you guys to go in, take a closer look for yourself. This may represent a great opportunity to get exposure to this sector. I'd be curious to hear your thoughts in the comment section below, specifically if you're already holding shares or if you've heard of Alzamend Neuro before. As you can see on the screen, there's some contact information here. I would encourage you guys to check out the website. If you have any additional questions, there's an email available as well, or you can leave them in the comment section of this video. If you're still watching, hopefully you found some value. Make sure you hit the like button, you guys. Feel free to subscribe. And with that being said, we'll see you back here tomorrow.